Hello and good morning, guys. Welcome to the Calmie African Diary Show right here on the Black Fire Network, media for the 21st century. I trust that everyone is doing okay on this particular Thursday morning. I understand that right now in the diaspora, it is already okay. It is actually early hours of the morning, but in Nairobi, it is 42 minutes past 5 p.m. Of course, the day is slowly coming to the end, and of course, my name is Calmie, and this is the Calmie African Diary Show. We're just from having a very interesting show with the Spikes and one amazing artist that is at Tarasat, all the way from South Africa. But if you did get to miss that, you can simply get to have a hold on that by simply logging onto www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com, and you can proceed and get to watch this show. Also, another thing that you can get to do once you are, of course, logged onto our website is that you can get that is you can of course get to support the stream at Cash App Mr. Blackwood Fire, and you can get to donate at www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. We do have other shows as well. I'm talking about the Pan African Blaze show by the one and only at Joby. We also do have the 54 correspondence show by Spikes. We do have the African Today show, whereby we do get to host okay, it's Spikes and Zoe and Keith most of the time. We also do have, of course, the Calm African Diary show. We do have there is the Rhythm Scoop show. I mean, guys, the shows are just basically many, so you can basically get to watch some of the shows. And this is the Calm African Diary show right here on the Blackout Fire Network media for the 21st century. And of course, I'm just a little bit excited. It's because I'm just from the other show, but irrespective, everyone needs to be happy, irrespective of how the day is turning out to be. And in Nairobi right now, it is the weather has not been that good since morning. But then again, we cannot be complaining about the weather. But just to update you, is that different places in Kenya, we have been receiving rainfall. We have been receiving rainfall in different places. And I think some farmers are going to be affected by this. But then again, who are we to question the weather? Because if it has decided, it has definitely decided. But I think this has to do with the issue with climatic changes. And I believe it was yesterday I had just briefly touched on the situation with how climatic changes has affected us. We did talk about depression and anxiety being part and parcel over these changes in the climatic weather. But I do not wish to touch more on that. And of course, today being on a Thursday, it is a throwback Thursday, and I just started my day today by listening to some old throwback. That is What's Love Got to Do. I believe that is the title of the jam by Warren Turner. Is it Turner? Yes. And guys, every time I get to listen to this throwback music, it definitely gets to make my day. Every time I get to listen to this throwback music, I get to realize that irrespective of a change taking place, good music was back in the 90s. Of course, this Thursday, you can basically do yourself some good justice by simply getting to listen to some throwback music. You can get to listen to some throwback, that is to watch some throwback movies, and get to remind yourself where you have come from. Trust me, if you do not get to remind yourself where you have come from, then you don't have a purpose as to where you are going. That is what it is. Let me repeat this. If you do not get to remind yourself as to where you are coming from, definitely you do not get to have a purpose as to where you are going. And this does not just mean about throwback music, but then again, it is good, to know where you have come from and some of the changes that you are basically going to do. And apart from that, of course, I remember being on a Thursday also, we get to talk about different topical issues that do get to affect us right here on the Calmie African Diary Show. So feel free to interact with me. Feel free to give in your views regarding the different, topic that you do have for you today on the Blackout Fire Network. And of course, we'll be talking about different topical issues that will be affecting us, and some of which are affecting us. But today, I just want it to be an easy Thursday. And let me start the show with this amazing quote that says, siku ya nyani kufa, this is in Swahili, siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. Let me repeat this. Siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. Definitely. Let me get to interpret this. It basically means the day of the death of a monkey, all trees become slippery. Let me repeat this. Of course, this is direct translation. That the day of the death of a monkey, all trees become slippery. And of course, this is a food for thought because different sayings and proverbs, they do have different meanings. Of course, it is upon you to get to internalize that, because my understanding might definitely not be your understanding. And also, guys, remember we do have the Swahili classes. You can basically get to enroll into that. You can either get to read or that is study them online, because at the end of the day, there's just something so good in terms of you getting to understand where you are coming from. And a national reminder is that we are 197 days to the end of the year. I'll keep on, counting the calendar, because I just believe that this year has a lot in store for me. Personally, I do understand that also you guys, you do have your own manifestos and things like that. So 197 days to the end of the year. What have you achieved so far? Or what is it that you wanted to achieve and you have not yet achieved? Today is just a reminder that you still can get to achieve it, irrespective of how hard that simply is. That is one thing I need to remind us. 197 days. I'm still shook because I did not expect, days to fly this far. And as the General Mosquito said, that saying just gave me a headache, trying to figure it out. Good morning, General Mosquito. Definitely. That is why I say that different sayings have their own meaning. That siku ya nyani kuteleza, miti yote, siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. Let me just interpret it this way. Nyani is basically a monkey, and kuteleza is slippery. So in Swahili says siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. That if you found yourself in a situation, or let me just put it this way, if you are in a situation, how do I get to actually, General Mosquito, you've not even confused me. Let me put it this way, the correct way. That if something was meant to happen, no matter how strong you try to be in that situation, no matter how strong you try to evade that situation from happening, it is definitely going to happen. Let me repeat this, that if something is going to happen or was going to happen, irrespective of how hard you really try to fight that situation from happening, definitely it is going to happen. And that is why we're saying siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. And this is evident because we all know that it is hard for a monkey, to fall from a tree, because this is part and parcel of how they have grown up in the jungle. This is how they get to maneuver. So it's hard for a monkey to basically get to fall from a tree. That is why I've said siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza. Habari ya asubuhi, Kaka Keith.
Good afternoon, Calmie.
How you doing?
I'm okay. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Ooh, that is some positive way to start your morning.
Yes, it is kind of positive.
Uh-huh.
I'm in Central Florida, and it is
Uh-huh.
beautiful and lovely out here.
Uh-huh.
Tropical weather. How's everything in Kenya?
Everything is so fine, and I'm just so done complaining about the weather. It's because whether I like it or not, that is how it's going to be. But so far, so good. Everything is fine, apart from a situation that I want to address briefly before we even get to venture to the main topic. So, Keith, I was just watching news yesterday, and I'm shocked that a doctor decided to end her life. And this is because of the type of torture she has been going through, in her job. I understand we do have nurses and doctors also in the chat room. And this is because of the type of depression she has been going through after her work. And according to her
Is it?
situation, yes,
Is that in Kenya?
yes, this is in Kenya. According to
All
her
right.
situation, the reason as to why she went ahead and killed herself, it is because at some point in her career, she had to leave three young, of course, newborn babies to die because they didn't have enough equipment in the hospital. Also the same thing, so you can imagine how traumatizing that is, that a lady has just given birth and you have no alternative but to tell them that the baby is dead because you did not have enough equipment. Also another thing, and this is in a government facility, and we all know the Kenyan government coming out and about and saying that it has donated this and this equipments to make sure that nurses get to work well, and so on. Also, in terms of another situation, she had to operate on a live human being using a torch. Keith, this is in Kenya, a government
You
hospital, that you are
use a
going to
use a
surgery.
use a
Yes,
torch. You said use
using
a
a
torch.
torch. Exactly. And
That's
it really
that,
got.
that's because of the corruption of the system. All the
Mm,
money has been stolen to the top of the system. With
mhm,
Kenyatta and the rest of these other MPs that run the country, all the other
mhm,
corrupt political officials. So all that money's been siphoned
mhm.
from the public services to their bank account, and there's no
True.
accountability. So you have
Mm,
fiefdoms in Africa. It's not just Kenya, like we said. This is how the
mm,
Europeans set up Africa. These are
mhm,
fiefdoms. These are not really countries. It's not just Kenya. It's every country in Africa. Every last country that are Africans, not the Arabs. Every last one that are Africans are set up to be dysfunctional fiefdoms. That's how they
true.
were set up to be. So until uh, 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 Kenyans and I don't like to say Kenyans, African people realize,
Mhm,
hey, we got to bring down these whole European puppet systems because they're
mhm,
dangerous to us as a people. They do not work for us because they were never meant to work for us. Just like you said something a couple of days ago, no, yesterday, a couple of days ago, which
mhm,
was true, when you said Diamond Platinum was not given an award at the BET. First of all, BET is a bastion of coons. It was created by a coon Negro, got the
mhm,
money from white people. He did not was always to the grinner,
mhm,
the grinner. What's the word? It's gonna tell my son to denigrate black people. That's what it was set to do. It's always been a coon factory. It's a factory of coonage. And so now he
true.
sold it to a white corporation. He never really owned it anyway. It's always to put a black face on it while white people really control it. And so it's controlled by Viacom, Tammy. It says black
Mhm,
entertainment. Don't nobody black own the shit. It's the worst piece of garbage in the world. And the idea that you say Diamond Platinum was John Magufuli wasn't a dictator. He was elected by his people. See, that lets you know white
mhm,
supremacy is global because he's the only
true.
African leader that was working for African people. So he was a threat to white power globally.
That's
So
right.
you have this fake ass. So you have this fake ass BET, which is not black entertainment at all. It's buffoonery.
Mm,
It causes the debauchery of black people globally to
mhm,
have him come out. We're not going to give him our dumbass award because white massa told us not to give him to him because we say he's part of he likes a dictator. Now, unless I don't understand something, John Magufuli was elected
mm,
overwhelmingly by his people. That's not a dictator.
that's true.
But you got some black flunky groups. That's how they undermine black people. You put these black
Mhm,
faces, these black funkies, these black
mhm,
American puppets, these black coons,
mhm,
these coon ass Negroes, these coon ass niggas to spew lies about John Magufuli because they're doing it for who? The white puppet masters. White people own BET. And they let you know good governance is not what they want in Africa. They're telling you right there. We don't like John Magufuli that he took most of that money and gave it to his people, and black people should always be on the bottom. So we're going to use our black puppets, our black flunkies, to say, oh, we're not going to give my dumbass award because he supported a dictator. Now, either these black people are complete buffoons and idiots, or they're paid puppets, and that's what they are. I told you, in Africa and out of Africa, no matter where you go, the African nigga is a puppet on the planet because he has not fought these people. Idea you're going to say John Magufuli is a puppet for some fucking BET stuff about no good crackers. So, I caught the show afterwards. I couldn't say nothing on it. It wasn't no damn John Magufuli, a dictator. He's the only one in Africa that's not a dictator, not put there by puppets. That's why he was murdered. Go ahead, Candy,
That is yes, that is true. I think I had an issue with the internet there. That is definitely true, Kit. I agree with you. You know, one thing about us Africans is that we want to elect leaders who want to fight corruption. We want these leaders, to stand for our rights and so on. But the moment you do have these leaders, we don't start backstabbing them. I can imagine the amount of hate that even some Tanzanians had towards Magufuli because he was a working leader. I can imagine the type of hatred that his family received because this is one leader who sacrificed his life for the people, but the people are ungrateful. The situation with Diamond Platinums, I mean, what on earth, would you say that a leader is a dictator? Because at the end of the day, you know that you have not been benefiting anything. And in terms of the situation that is happening in different African hospitals, Keith, I'm telling you, in Kenya, we've had doctors lose their lives, and these doctors have been working for even a period of close to 4 months with no pay. There was a time that we did have nurses and doctors striking, but these doctors did not stay at home. They still went to work, and some of them lost their lives in the process. Going to work in a hospital, you're not given the right type of equipment, you do not have the resources, and yet the government is taking more loans and more loans. For example, right now we also do have a new loan from the, of course, from the international, that is monetary fund in Kenya again. And this money, I believe it is, was it 40 billion? I cannot remember the amount of money, but this money is, Kenyans are not going to, of course, benefit from this. So I agree with Kit in regards to the situation that is happening, that it is definitely not right that this is happening in our country, that we are living in a situation whereby corruption is on the rise. Nurses and doctors cannot be able to cope up with this because it is affecting their psychological well-being. It is making them to be depressed on a daily basis. And yet again, we want to go back next year to the ballot box and chant about these leaders. At, of course, at KW Don 7, good morning. You've said Robert Johnson of BET is, all right, that word. All right, at KW Don, thank you so much for your views regarding that, because all this BET situation is messed up, and we've seen artists hating on one another because of BET, as if BET has something good on them. And also one thing I also see at Derek Askew said, morning, have a nice day. Morning to you too at Derek. You definitely do have a nice day as well. And KW John, you said, I thought you said no more. KW John, I think that is in regards to Keith. KW John, I think that is the way most of you guys get to converse. You know, here in Kenya, your mama will just get to whoop you. You cannot even risk saying that, but then again, that is, Keith will come and answer for himself that way. So guys, remember, it is about updates. It is about what is happening in different African countries. And today being on a Thursday, I've just said that you can start your day by listening to some amazing throwback music, because at the end of the day, you want to sit down, get to reflect on life, get to reflect on how life was before all this craziness that we are going through. And of course, today in history, still we are marking the day that we were told that a lockdown will only be for 21 days, but here we are. It has been more than 21 days, and we are still counting. We are just, being messed up on a daily basis, but I just hope no one is going to get depressed in regards to the situation that is happening. And in terms of the main topic of the day, we are going to take a look at how entertainment is being used to bring Africans together. We are going to take a look at how entertainment is bringing Africans together, because I believe, of course, we do have a lot of hurdles, taking place, or rather affecting artists in the entertainment industry. We are definitely going to tackle that. But then again, let's take a look at this on a rather positive side. Has entertainment, let me just ask this question to the family. Has entertainment made you feel like it is dragging you closer to your roots as an African? Not only an African in Africa, but also an Africa in the diaspora. Let me repeat this question. Feel free to answer me. Do you feel like entertainment, that is this entertainment, the now entertainment, the 21st entertainment, do you feel like it is drawing you to your African roots? That is the question for the day. Let me know your views regarding that as we get to proceed with the show. Of course, there are different views regarding this, and I'll definitely like to know your views. And in terms of this, I'd love to, of course, update us on what is happening in terms of the entertainment industry as we get to proceed to the main topic of the day. Remember, this is the Black Fire Network Media for the 21st century, and you are listening to the Calmie African Diary Show right here on the Black Fire Network Media for the 21st century. So today in history, we do have the 30th Pan-African Film Festival. And of course, if you are good into acting, it is a calling to you to go there and enroll. Personally, I've really loved acting. I think I've been featured on, well, a skit back then in a church when church was made mandatory. I'm telling you guys, it is good to get to sit down and get to, reflect on how life was. Back then, growing up, it was mandatory. If we are going to church, you have to go there and act during, how was it called? Sunday service or something like that. I even cannot remember because the last time I went to church, it's been ages. So you were made to basically act whether you like it or not. And that was the first time that I acted. I remember I was given a role of, was it? Geez, I cannot even recall, but it was just a very funny role. That was the first time I acted. Back in high school, I did drama festivals, and it was definitely good. Well, I used to receive a lot of compliments. Not that I'm just trying to, build a name for myself. I used to receive a lot of compliments, but then again, right now, if you tell me you stand on the stage, the mic is always, all that I can do is just faint or rather sweat and become just unable to, of course, give a speech. But that is just it in terms of that. You can still go ahead and enroll for the 30th Pan-African Film Festival that is set to take place in LA. And one thing about this is that, of course, it mainly focuses on African narrative, and that is where we are getting at with the main topic of the day. It mainly focuses with the African narrative. Guys, forget about all these sci-fi movies that you get to watch on a daily basis. All these sci-fi movies that get to tell us that, the future is going to be this and this, it's going to be scientific. Of course, there's some truth to that. But then again, how about we make our movies be all about African narratives? How about we make our movies such that the new coming generation, I'm talking about the generation from now henceforth, that every time they'll get to sit down and watch a movie, they'll have a hint of where their ancestors are coming from. They'll have a hint of where their parents are coming from. How about you get to, enroll more on that? And that is why I had asked this question. Do you think that the 21st century movie is drawing you back to your roots? Of course, I'm looking forward to receiving your answers regarding that. But this is in regards, of course, to the 30th Pan-African Film Festival that is set to take place, that you can basically to enroll on that. And its main focus is on the narratives, that is the narratives of Africans in Africa and also Africans in the diaspora. So you are not left behind. And of course, I think I think that the producer for Wakanda has also been involved. You all remember Wakanda, some of the themes that were stolen from Africa and of course being put in the Wakanda movie. It is a movie that basically, sparked a lot of, talks on different social media platforms. But I believe that if you do have to have these movies that get to talk about African narrative, African way of life, then we are going forward, irrespective of just having a day. I'm talking about, we do have the Black, of course, that is the Black African Day that people do get to celebrate. And some of these days, we just get to celebrate them once and that is it. And it seems like people have lost, a sense of belonging. People get to forget what was being said on that day. But if you do have this in a movie, the mind is like a magnet, and it is hard to erase some of the things that you have watched personally. So let me know your views regarding this. And also another thing is that this the 30th, that is a Pan-African that is the Pan-African Film Festival. It will get to have some of the prestigious film that is prestigious Black film festivals, and also it will feature different catalogs around the world. That is um, in terms of the movies that of course are set to take place. But family, I'm waiting your answer regarding the situation with the movie industry. Do you think that the movie industry has actually drawn you to your roots? Do you think that the movie industry has actually made you realize that, or rather learn a lot of things in terms of history and culture? Because I think nowadays when you get to go online and stream a movie, most of the time if you get to watch something that has some African narrative in it, I think it gets to have a lot of views. I'm not talking about the issue with the LGBTQ, because I've also realized that the issue with the LGBTQ is also having a lot of views online, and this is because people are just trying to make it look as mandatory as possible. People are trying to make it look like it is something very much normal. Let's forget about that and take a look at the situation. And for that, let me answer this way. On my situation, let me use an example of a movie. There's a this movie. I believe most of us have watched it. I believe Sarafina. I believe a lot of you have watched Sarafina. And in terms of Sarafina, I did get, I felt like it did get to draw me more to my African roots, because I could get to take a look at, how life was during the apartheid duration. I got to see, some of the injustices that the Africans were going through, and as a result, it got to open my mind more. As a result, it got to make me realize that there's just a lot of things that we need to change as Africans. Keith, you're back. Can you hear me, Keith?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Keith, I was talking about that is, I was just on the main topic of the day, and I was asking the family if they feel like the 21st century movies is drawing them to their African roots. Let me ask you that question. Do you feel like the 21st century movies are, of course, making just drawing you back to your African roots?
Which movies are we talking about? I don't know which movies. I don't know which 21st movies
Okay,
are we
the
talking about,
movies
Ken.
with the African narrative theme. I'm not talking about the movies with LGBTQ, but the movies with the African
I hope
narrative
not.
themes.
LGBTQ is not our. I hope not. That's not our culture. That's not our. Yeah. I hope we're not talking about no LGBTQ.
Mhm,
Um, well, I'll have to see who's producing those movies. A lot of movies are for brainwashers, mind control. So
mhm,
with the African not understanding the nuance of mind control and propaganda, how it works, then you might be looking at something and don't know it's actually indoctrinating you against
mhm.
yourself.
True.
Movie making is very, let's say, that's what I'm looking for. It's very sophisticated, very
Mhm,
sophisticated. Because if you don't control the money to make it or the narrative, it's
mhm,
always a form of mind control. Because movies and music goes goes to the subconscious mind.
True.
White people know that, they've studied that. It goes to the subconscious. So you
Mm-hmm.
might not know you're being indoctrinated because you consciously are looking at it, but it's going to your subconscious. So I like to see what movie it is. What is it talking about? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of movies, especially not made by African people, are to subjugate us. You understand? Uh, White people have stolen the world.
Yeah.
Africans don't want to wake up. They want to think that they're your friend. They've never been your friend. Everywhere you go, you see their treatment to African people. It's always been horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you call it Kenya, South Africa, America, and go wherever they've been, their treatment towards us has never been friendly. It's always been about indoctrinating you with a false religion, to worship them a lie, to subjugate you, have you work for free out of slavery or some form of slavery, as you
Mm-hmm.
see in Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
or some form of depopulation going on where they sterilizing you and trying to get your ass off the planet so they can steal the very resources that you were endowed with by the real creator. So the ideal is
That's
either work you to death,
mm-hmm.
rape and beat you, steal what you have, i.e. Africa and the resources in Africa, indoctrinate you with lies and you worship them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like Joby said, the truth, most black people in Africa worship white people. That's a fact. That means you are messed up in the head. You
That's
are,
true.
and I got it. People, I use curse words for effect. You got to get over curse. No such thing as a word that curses you. That's why people say that.
Mm-hmm.
I say you are fucked up in the head. I want to emphasize that you are fucked up in the head. And the F word is not a cuss word. If you don't know history,
Mm-hmm.
it's an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
People, it's an acronym. It means fornication. Everything they do is wicked. It means fornication under consent of the king. So they took an acronym and created a word. Fornication under consent of the king. That meant the
Mm-hmm.
king could rape your wife, have sex with your wife. So that's why the term became fuck. They just
True.
shortened the acronym to FUCK. It meant fornication under consent under the king. I mean, the king could look at your wife and say, "Hey, I want to sleep with your wife." That's white people
What?
shit.
I
Yeah, that's
didn't
where the
know
word came from.
that. I
Yes,
didn't
that's where the
know
word
that.
got. Yes, Cammy, that's what it meant. Fornication under. I spelled it out. It's an acronym. Fuck, it's not even a
Mm-hmm.
word. It's an acronym. You don't know history. You know, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
he said the F word. Oh my God. Hey, dummy, it's not even a word, you dummy. It's an acronym. It's an acronym that meant fornication. I said fornication under
Mm-hmm.
you consent. C
Mm-hmm.
of the king. K Fuck. Fuck. Fornication under consent of the king. When you walking down the street in Europe, the king can say, "Hey, I like your wife. I want to sleep with her." You have to say, "Okay, that was the law."
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
go to second.
Thank you. Thank you for
Go,
those for those
go
findings.
again.
I think I'm going to put that as my status today because I believe not a lot of people know actually the full meaning of those abbreviations. And I see at Derek Askew had earlier on in terms of the movies that he felt that these movies do get to draw him to the African roots. He had said Bank of America. Is it Bank of America or Back to America? Okay, maybe it could be Bank of America. General Mosquito said, if you don't control your mind, someone else will. That is by
Exactly.
the one and only Dick Gregory. Absolutely correct. I agree with you. So, Keith, I also agree on the point that you have said. It depends on, some of the producers of the movies. It also depends with the agenda of these movies, because some movies, irrespective of them having an African narrative in them, this African narrative might be twisted in a way that it is going to mess you up. You might
Let's
think that you're
let's
learning
say
your history.
let's let's give an example. How about the Black Panther? The Black Panther
Mm-hmm.
propaganda. The Black Panther is telling you. Remember, they made Killmonger the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
the American African who wanted to fight white supremacy. Right? He goes. His father abandons him. He grows up
Mm-hmm.
an American, and he comes back to claim the throne of whatever the name of that damn shit was called, Black Panther, right? He said, "Listen, we gotta have all African people. We are subjugating under white supremacy. We gotta accept all. We African people. And
Mm-hmm.
and Goofy Shigala says, no, I just want to help my people here in what the hell was the name of that kingdom, Cammy? What's it called? In
Wakanda,
Wakanda.
Wakanda.
I just want
Mm-hmm.
to help. That's how you know this is white people giving you propaganda. I just want to help my people in Wakanda. Fuck the other black people, the other Africans. Fuck them. We'll be rich and they'll be all be impoverished. That's how
Mm-hmm.
you know. You got to know what the angle is. And
True.
they have what? The minerals that the world needed. That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Africa has all the wealth. So instead of them saying, yeah, I'm going to help the African people, at the end says, well, I'm going to give my minerals away to everybody for free. You sound crazy as cat shit. So other Africans are still being impoverished.
Mm-hmm.
So you giving your minerals away to other people, which means white people and Asians for free. So that movie right there was propaganda. And I'm glad a lot of people are waking up and knew it was. There's some propaganda to that shit. Killmonger's the hero, not T'Challa. T'Challa's the coon and the buck dancing, broken ass Negro. And even
Mm-hmm.
Chadwick Boseman knew that when he said, yes, Killmonger is the hero. Exactly. Killmonger is the hero, not T'Challa. T'Challa should have been dethroned and murdered. Get your weak ass off the throne. And that, and,
I agree with you.
but the white man,
That's. Mhm.
but that's how they do propaganda. But go ahead, go ahead, Cam.
Yes, that movie. Let me tell you, Kate. I think even there's some women who named their children after that movie because everyone was just so crazy about Wakanda. In that,
Yes,
we all thought that
Africans
we
not the
all thought.
topic.
Yes.
Go ahead, Cam.
I'm saying we all thought that it was in terms of reuniting Africans, and that is correct. I agree with you. You have actually put up a very good point because some of these movies we think that they are having the right African narrative, that they are having the
It was
right
beautiful.
type
It
of
was
a theme.
beautiful. We wanted to see because Africans want to see themselves in a positive light. It was greatly
Hmm.
done. Don't get me wrong. Cinematography was good. The story was good. Beautiful
Yeah.
women, strong women in there, fighters.
Hmm.
That's great. It was wonderfully looked. It wasn't low budget. It was done right. But
Hmm.
you got to you see strong African women. That was great. It was good things. Don't get me wrong. That's how propaganda works. You got to mix
Hmm.
lies with truth. So you got to show
Hmm.
dang the strong black women be strong, and the black woman's a scientist. She's the doctor, and the women are the
Hmm.
soldiers. You know that shit's powerful, cool, great. But the overall story is no. We
Hmm.
should keep all the Africans fucked up, give
Hmm.
all the minerals to white people, and and not fight for African people globally, not realizing you're one people globally. It was telling you to still play tribal games. See, at the end of the day,
True.
the Black Panther movie said, yeah, let's be a tribe and all that tribal shit. And Kim out said,
Hmm.
no, we can't be no tribes. We're all one people.
Hmm.
We're the richest people on the planet, so we got the goddamn. Because remember, the movie, Killmonger goes and steals back the African artifacts out of the museum. Remember? He said, this is African shit. So he takes out was in the British Museum or the French Museum, wherever he was at. He was
Hmm.
in Europe. And so he said, this is African art. This belongs to African people. So he stole it, and they tried to stop him, and he killed those people. And they want to make you feel guilty about getting back your own stuff that they stole. He was right for
Yeah.
taking. That belongs to African people. It don't belong to Europeans. That's not their shit. They stole it. For him
Hmm.
stealing it back was right. He said, "Oh no, why he do that? Why he killed a white man? No, no, because he's getting back the shit that was stolen from Africa. That's why." so,
That's why
so,
exactly.
so, so it's not T'Challa. He was the hero. Killmonger. And
Hmm.
a lot of people realize that they got a lot of Africans waking up. Killmonger's the hero, not T'Challa. He's the weak
Hmm.
motherfucker you would put on the throne. Killmonger's the hero. Because he told you, hey, we got to unite as African people. We're the strongest
Hmm.
people on the planet once we unite. And all the minerals belong to us. We got the wealth. And he's right.
Hmm.
You know, like, oh no, this is only for Wakanda. I don't care about other Africans. You got to tell I don't care about other African people. Fuck them. I'm like, wow, this is some propaganda here. It looks all good. I said, wow, there's some deep propaganda here. This tell black people still play tribal games. Fuck the other Africans. He said, hey man, you in this African people are hurting around the planet. My concern is not about
True.
other African people. Fuck them. My concern is about Wakanda. What?
Hmm.
What?
I agree. I agree with you, Keith, regarding that. Those are, of course, some strong points you have said there. And of course, it just needs the right mind to watch, because every time you get to
Well,
watch
that's how
everything that
propaganda
is,
works. That's how
yes?
propaganda works, Cammy. You got to know, you got to stand that the message. I say, oh, white people
Mm-hmm,
made this movie. What white people not doing anything in the benefit of black people. Once you know that,
mm-hmm,
then you can sit back and look at it and then have with a critical eye. Look at everything with a
mm-hmm.
critical eye, Cammy. Everything critically.
Exactly.
That's the white people are bringing it to you. They looked all great yet strong ass Lapita in there, and the other
Mm-hmm.
girl. Like, yeah, they kick ass. That's right. But then be critical. Look at the message. Here go the fuckery right here. Here's the fuckery. I see it. I got you, crackers. Right here. This is the fuckery right here. So look at it with a critical eye, damn it.
It's true. It's true. We should not be easily gullible with what you get to watch, because most of the people just assume that the content is good for us. And I just want to mention a few movies that people believe that these movies have drawn them to the African roots. There's this movie that is termed Black Girl, which was produced in the year 1966 in Senegal. And I believe, Kit, it goes hand in hand with the underground railroad, the one that you get to watch. That a young girl had left her village in
All right.
Senegal to go and work for that is for a wealthy family in France. And to them, she
France,
thought that she was going to work there as their nanny, only for her to realize after a few days that she was indeed not the
they put
nanny,
in
but she was
prostitution, didn't
more
they?
than a slave. Yes.
Yeah. Did they put in prostitution or something, Cammy?
Pardon?
Didn't they put her in prostitution or something? I'm not sure that's the
I
same
think
movie.
so. Yes, I think maybe at some part, but I'm not sure about that. But
Oh,
this
okay.
in terms of this movie drawing people to their roots, I think let me just interpret it this way. I think it gets to remind people of how they were viewed and how they are still viewed in the world. That you think you're going, for example, the situation with Africans living the African that is maybe from Kenya, Tanzania, different places, going to work in Arabian countries. They think that they're going to work there as a nanny, but the perception of the
And
Arab
that's
man
wrong.
towards the black man is
Right.
still the
They
same. They
don't.
get to view them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
still the same hate. And these white
Exactly.
Arabs are not even Arabs. Black people are
Mm-hmm.
Arabs. These white people, those are invaders
Mm-hmm.
who invaded a culture, an African culture,
Mm-hmm.
and now claim it. Just
Mm-hmm.
like white Jews. White Jews are not Jews. They took an African
Mm-hmm.
religion and now say, where are the Jews? That's a
Mm-hmm.
lie. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta be unabashedly honest, Cammy. We
True.
gotta be courageously honest about what is truthful in history.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not Arabs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are white people who came down
Mm-hmm.
and now pretend to be Arabs. They're just as racist as
Mm-hmm.
any other white people in Europe or whatever. They're not Arabs.
Mm-hmm.
The people can claim to be Arabs. Arab is an African culture. You being a white man, you're not an Arab. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
they do the same kind of wicked behavior towards African women,
Mm-hmm.
and it is an abomination of the African government because they're puppets not to tell the women what to expect when they take their ass over there looking for greener pastures and more money. That you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
violated, you're going to be raped, you're going to be brutalized, and you might even be killed.
Keith, you're breaking. Keith, I think you're breaking slightly. Uh, Keith, can you hear me? I think you're breaking slightly.
Yeah, I hear you. Am I breaking up?
Yes, you're breaking slightly, but now I can hear you.
I was saying that from any of these countries,
All right. I
African
can hear you
countries,
now
your
clearly.
country's not gonna come and save you. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
if you're from any of these African countries, they're not gonna come and save you. And it's irresponsible for them not to teach their people not to go over there. Irresponsible. I
Mm-hmm.
think Ghana finally made it illegal for any African woman to take her ass over there. You're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
educate your women. You raise African people to be morons, and it's dangerous in a
Mm-hmm.
world where you got real enemies. And Africans out there not knowing he has real enemies. He don't even know what the hell's going on, especially an African woman. She goes, I'm going to Saudi Arabia, mommy. I'm going to make more money. And you find out you're
Mm-hmm.
being raped and beat, your passports taken from you. You're not
No
being
phone
paid what they
calls at
told you they were
home.
going to pay you. No phone
Mm-hmm.
calls. Your mom's wondering what the hell's going on with you. You finally
Mm-hmm.
sneak out here to call. Mommy, I'm help. I need help. What can I do? Your mom can't do that for you. She don't know what the fuck you had in Saudi Arabia. She's got no connections
Mm-hmm.
to the Saudi government.
True.
You
Mm-hmm.
asked out. You might go end up in a desert dead or with your head chopped off. They don't tell you that
Mm-hmm.
beheading in Saudi Arabia is the norm.
That's
They
true.
chop your head off. It's
Mm-hmm.
normal. You're like, what? I
And
never
record
knew it.
it.
Well, you know now. You're in Saudi Arabia. They'll chop your goddamn
Exactly.
head off.
They'll do so. They'll do so and record it on live, and no one is going to save you just because you thought that you're going there to be the super nanny and get to come back with paper. So this goes hand in hand. I believe, Keith, you have explained more in that. This goes hand in hand with the perception that we think that that people have changed. Most people believe that the white man has changed. They believe that his perception to
Yeah.
others is just going to be for the best, and that's why
Okay.
we are
Let me
even
change.
having.
But ask this question then. Can it be changed?
Hmm.
How the hell you in Africa, the richest continent on the planet, and you're poor? And be
Hmm.
changed. Well, where's all the money go? Just ask that question. Ask that question any moronic ass Negro said. The white man changed. Okay, so here's stupid. I'm sitting on the richest continent on the planet. It's not
Hmm.
no. It's not even a argument. Then why the
Hmm.
fuck am I poor and African people poor then? Ask him that.
Exactly.
Since the white
Hmm.
man's changed,
Hmm.
because before the white man showed up, Africans were rich, Cammy. Like I told you, it messed up Joey's mind yesterday, but I told her yesterday, you'd have
Hmm.
prisons in Africa. There was no word for jail. There was no
Hmm.
jails in Africa. She looked it up. She said, yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
shit. Yes, right. White man brought your jails and police. There were no police in Africa. That's created by the cracker.
That's true.
You don't know. You
That.
go back 200 years ago. Let's say I'm walking through Kenya. I didn't
Hmm.
have any jails in Kenya. There were no police in Kenya.
Hmm.
So what happened? Oh, you became westernized. Well, now you're locking up people.
You
Got
decided.
crooked ass cops, corrupt ass police
Mhm.
from Kenya to South Africa to Ghana to damn Angola to fucking Nigeria. Where'd
People.
you get that from?
People
Go ahead.
decided.
Go ahead, Kevin.
People decided. People decided. Kid. People decided that their way, their ancestral way of life was not enough. That they should get to embrace a change. They should get to embrace modernity from
Yeah,
the white man. And as a
your ways
result,
is
here we are
backwards. Yeah,
messed up.
your ways is backwards. But you've venerated your woman. Your woman wasn't on the bottom. You
Mm-hmm.
loved your black woman. You venerated her. Now your black woman's on the bottom. She's fucked up
Mm-hmm.
in the head, worshiping white people. So your black woman's fucked up in the head. So this is better. She's worshiping white people. She's on the bottom of society now.
Uh-huh.
Got prisons and corrupt police, but somehow this was better. The European
Mm-hmm.
brought you civilization. Okay. If you don't get out of my face, dummy,
That's
you slowly
I
civil.
agree with you. I agree with you, Kid. I also want to mention another movie that people believe it has drawn them. And this movie is titled, the title of the movie is Hyenas, and it was produced in the year 1992. It was also produced in Senegal. And let me just explain a little bit about this movie. It is all about, it explains all about the African poverty and some of the elements of human folly. And we all know that the brains, or rather not the brains, we all know the reason as to why Africa is still in a poverty state. So you can also get to watch that one out and get to take a look at it.
Let me ask you
Is it
this, Tammy, so
explaining
much.
more? Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Senegal's rich in diamonds. Senegal's
Mm-hmm.
rich in all kind of beautiful natural. Why is Senegal poor? Poor then? Again, Senegal's one of the richest countries in diamonds, Tammy. One of the richest
Mm-hmm.
countries in I think Is it aluminum and other minerals? So why is
Mhm.
Senegal poor? If you're free, and the white man can let you free, why is Senegal poor?
It's
Ask these
because
questions.
It's because their government is busy calling the likes of the UN to come and help them, save their people from poverty and so on. But the same UN are the same people who are
Yeah.
actually looting their resources. I believe that is one
Yeah.
reason, because also these countries with
I
resources, they love
understand,
getting aid.
understand. The UN was set up by white supremacists to make sure
Mm-hmm,
they kept control of the planet. Got to go back
mm-hmm,
and know your history. So if you're giving me, if you're stealing, Tammy, if you're steal $20 trillion from a year, that's what they call
mm-hmm,
Africa, right? $20
mm-hmm,
trillion a year out of Africa. The white people steal that, and then you
mm-hmm.
come back and say, "I'm giving you dumb niggas aid. I'm giving you $5 billion in aid, you dumb niggas." After you just stole $20 trillion from me, Cammy, I'm giving
We,
you the richest niggas aid. But that's what they
mm-hmm.
doing. That's what it's called. I'm giving you poor, dirty niggas aid after they just stole.
That is what they are doing. Keith, I think you're breaking a little bit. Keith, can you hear me? I think Keith is breaking a little bit. As we wait on Keith, I see at Blackout Fire Network Africa, you had earlier on said a peace family. A peace unto you too. I hope you are doing fantastic. Keith, let me know if you are able to hear me, because there's a little bit of a hitch on your end. I cannot get to have a hold of what you are saying. As you wait on Keith, and remember, guys, we were talking about that is, we are talking about the African movies, that is the African narrative themed movies. We had asked earlier on the chat that if you feel that these movies get to draw you back to your African roots, because I believe for most people the answer will be yes. But then again, take a look at some of the agenda, or take a look at what the author, or rather the producer, really wanted you, to learn at the end of the movie. Take a look at some of that, because those are basically some of the things that are going to, show you if really it has drawn you to your roots, or in terms of the African narrative, it is more like a twisted, and it has ended up messing, your views regarding something else. We are, of course, a few minutes to winding up on the show, but we're still waiting on Keith to come and get, of course, to continue with his point. But I really want to appreciate the fact that we have learned something today, because if you go around asking people if they feel like these movies get to, draw them to their African roots, most of them will give you a yes. But then again, take a look at what the producer, the hidden meaning, in terms of what the producer is out there portraying. Will this movie, after you have watched, is it going to mess your views regarding certain things in the African culture? Is it going to make you mess yourself up more? Because right now I believe a lot of us have messed up because of what we have been watching, because of how different things have changed, different views regarding our lives has changed, and as a result, we're just turning between doing the right thing. And I just want to slightly touch on the situation that is happening in Nigeria as we go on to wait on a kid. Is that Nigeria? This is, of course, a suggestion that in Nigeria, as if they have battled with the issue with Boko Haram, as if Nigeria has battled with the issue of girls being kidnapped from school, that is, school going children being kidnapped, as if Nigeria has dealt with the issue of corruption. It wants to change its name from Nigeria to the United African Republic. Personally, I do not have any issue with any African country changing their name. But the reason as to why Nigeria wants to change its name, it is because they're saying that this name was given to them by one, I think, a flora show during the 19th century, and I think the name, according to them, the name was derived from a river Niger, and they believe that it is high time to do away with the colonial name that was given to them. Well, that is not still an issue. I'm just getting to the point. That is still not an issue. Of course, I want every African country to be proud of who they are, to be proud of getting freedom. But then again, I think Nigeria has really not done a lot in terms of freedom, in terms of trying to make sure that its people are safe. Because changing the word Nigeria from Nigeria to the African Republic. So of course, if you are in Nigeria, you'll be saying that you are coming from the UAR, that is the United African Republic, and it is just an E away from being the United Arab Emirates. I think Nigeria is just an E away from being the United Arab Emirates, and I think there's no joy in that. I think there's no joy in that, as much as we have been advocating for African countries, to come about with a name that they'll feel like they are free from their colonial masters. And in terms of Nigeria, I think this is just it's not making sense now, because I believe before you get to change the name of your country, get to deal with corruption, get to make sure that whatever your colonial masters used to do to your people, you as a leader are not doing the same. Make sure that you get to give your people freedom of expression, that you get to make sure that the welfare of the children of the families in Nigeria is kept safe, that you get to make sure that your family, not your family, your country will not be the laughing stock to other nations. Because I believe Nigeria as a country is very potential. I believe Nigeria as a country has great roles in terms of getting to unite Africans together. But before they even go ahead and get to change their name, I think to me, this is too soon. I think they need to address some of the issues affecting them before they come to us with changing this name. And let me just put this correct again. I do not have personally any issue with any African country changing its name, but I believe before they do get to change their name, that they get to deal with the issues affecting them. So you get to change your name. So what? What have you changed about yourself? It has to start with you. It does not basically have to start with the government, with you showing the world that you are independent, that your freedom of expression has now changed. No, it has to start with you. What are you doing to make sure that your people are safe? What are you doing to make sure that you are an epitome of maybe let me say, maybe you are an epitome of that is a corruption-free country? What are you making sure to make sure that a Nigeria, that everyone out there who is maybe not only from Africa as a continent but also around the world really wants to be associated with your country? That is my view regarding that. We are, of course, a few minutes to winding the show, and I really want to appreciate everyone. I think we have lost Keith. I think he has an issue with his connectivity. But then again, remember, we have talked about the effect of African themed movies. We have talked about if they are really drawing you back to your African roots. If every time you get to switch that television on, if you get to feel like, yes, I think this is just what did get to happen, and I think I might do the same to my kids, or I might do the same as an individual. And also remember, I had talked about the movie Sarafina. I believe some of us have watched Sarafina. I used to watch it. I think I've watched it more than 3 times. And every time I used to watch it, I used to cry, because I'm like, I could not imagine this is happening in Africa. So in terms of these African movies drawing us to our roots, it does not necessarily mean that you get, to maybe do the chants and get to do some of the rituals and so on. But what I mean is that you get to open your mind as an individual, that this is what was happening in our society, that this is what was affecting our people. So as a result, it is upon you as an individual not to be easily gullible, but to get to do what is required of you, such that you do not end up being in the 21st century and your mind is still messed up. Just because you think that a movie has the African narrative in it, you get to believe that everything that is given to you it is for the good. And like Keith had earlier on said, it is good you get to judge this movie, you get to watch it on a different, perspective, because different producers have different, have different, that is, they have different, how do I get to put it? They have different ways or different hidden meanings as to how they are going to lure you into doing something that you wouldn't want, of course, to do. And we are coming to the end of the show. Remember, this has been the Calmie African Diary Show. We do have the African Today Show that will be coming, I believe, an hour from now or something like that. So feel free to get to join us. And I want to appreciate at General Mosquito. I also want to appreciate at David Askew at Blackwood Fire Africa. I also want to appreciate at KW Don for tuning in to the show. This has been the Calmie African Diary Show. I also want to appreciate Keith for giving us this amazing platform, because every day is indeed a learning experience. And from Keith, every time you just get to listen to Keith, you just have to learn something new, because we have put our mind to be like, I just do not want to learn something new. But it is upon you as an individual to go ahead and learn something new. My name is Calmie, and remember, you can get to log on to www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. And once you are logged in, you can proceed and get to watch some of, not even some, you can get to watch, of course, our shows. You can get to like our shows. You can get to share the videos. You can also get to support the stream at Cash App, Mr. Blackwood Fire. And you can also get to donate at www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. Thank you so much for choosing Blackwood Fire Network. Thank you so much for keeping it the Calmie African Diary Show. Of course, you'll get to interact on other platforms as well. And my parting shot is that you need to get to listen to some throwback music, get to watch that throwback movie, and get to remind yourself where life has been back then, and also where you are going as an individual. Much peace and love. Nashukuru sana kwa kuniunga katika kipindi hichi cha Calmie African Diary Show. Muwe na siku njema. It is already 43 minutes past 6 p.m. in Nairobi, or let me say Nairobi. That is how I get to pronounce it in terms of the type of crime that do get to take place. It is 44 minutes past 6 p.m. Of course, the day has finally come to the end. And to those who are listening from the diaspora, we are wishing you a good day. We are wishing you, of course, a fruitful day. Remember, it is 197 days to the end of the year. Get to use these days wisely. My name is Calmie. This has been the Calmie African Diary Show. Thank you once more for tuning in and getting to keep the show lively. It would have not been a success if you didn't get to join me on the show. Do have a good day and keep it the Blackwood Fire Network.